time and again, Star Wars Battlefront players go under the consensus that you need to run meta builds, meta perks, and you need to use all the really, really, really good perks together to succeed in this game. I'm here to dispel that myth because there are a lot of really fun, creative builds that you can use in both this game and in Battlefront 1, as you guys will see shortly. So let's get right into it. So this is a build that I like to use a lot in Assault. Now, commonly, what you'll see on an Assault class is you may see something like this. Toughen Up, the Improved Thermal Detonator, which is a really, really nasty card, and a Bounty Hunter you'll probably see on everybody. None of these card sets that you guys will see have Bounty Hunter whatsoever, and it kind of strays away from the more meta stuff that you will see. Now, the whole idea with this card set is you get information and you give information to your teammates through the improved scan dart. With the Slug Vanguard, you're able to take offensive opportunities you wouldn't be able to with the regular Vanguard, because the regular Vanguard is unfortunately not that great in most situations. It's very, very situational, unfortunately. You can catch a lot of people off guard with it, but if you go against people who are really, really aware, people who play on comms, you aren't going to be able to get those really cool Vanguard kill streaks that you see on your grandma's YouTube channel that your little brother uploads on. You aren't going to be able to do that consistently. There's a reason why you don't see clips like that all the time. It's because it's using a very inconsistent, unreliable strategy. Because that might be a team full of brain-dead, low-level solos who don't even know the map at all, or where to really go, or where the strong positions are. They might not even expect that kind of thing to happen, and when it happens, they're completely clueless. You aren't ever going to get a game like that, or at least consistently, because people play in parties a lot. Really good players like to play for their friends. You want something that's more consistent. The Slug Vanguard is something that will consistently help you. But to tie this all together, you have the perk Resourceful. This makes it to where you get to use these two perks more often, and as a side effect, you also get to use your Thermal Detonator more. Now, yes, this perk set does not have anything that helps you with healing. I know I just said anything twice, forgive me. So there's no Toughen Up, there's no Assault Training, no Survivalist, so you have to be a bit more aware of your surroundings, you have to use a bit more skill to use a card set like this, but that's why I like it. You have to be pretty good at the game to use something like this, and to be able to take advantage of those offensive opportunities that you give yourself. And those are kind of card sets that I like to use in this game, is stuff that is skillful, but something that is still good. It isn't something that you could use as a crutch consistently. That's what I like about this card set. Now, this next one takes advantage of a lot of the heavy strengths in ways that people might not understand exist, because a lot of heavies like to run really gimmicky stuff like Improved Impact Grenade or the Detonate Charge, which I don't think is that great. This is to more take advantage of what the heavy is supposed to do. Be really, really annoying, be really, really up in your face, sort of like how reinforcements are, and use these weapons that have a lot of cooling but deal a lot of damage, and abuse the fact that they have a larger health pool than the other stormtroopers and soldiers that are running around. Yes, officers can boost their health to beat you, but think of it this way: your teammates can do the same for you. If you're playing in a party, you can have an officer just give you the health boost, and now you have an even larger health pool. And you have guns that have really, really fast time to kill in medium to close range. And even at long range, some of these weapons can be pretty ridiculous as well. And these perks are meant to take advantage of that. So notice the common theme here that we have Survivalist, which is a really underrated perk in this game. This basically means, like, say you get a kill on an officer or a droid commando or something like that, or maybe like a small group of enemies, and then you think there's somebody coming up behind you, and you have only like a few seconds to plan out what you're going to do against this guy because you're on low health. Survivalist gives you a bit more room to do this, because with that little bit of delay, or the lack of delay, and the fact that you regenerate your health faster, you're able to plan out, okay, I'm going to be able to get like half my health back. Maybe I can have a chance at this fight, as opposed to being in a situation where you're going to die no matter what. Those kind of situations suck. This kind of helps you just avoid that a little bit. It isn't going to be useful in every situation, but the situations where you can make this kind of perk count, it's really good. The improved combat shield as well is really annoying. The whole purpose of this, by the way, is, say, if you're not using your supercharged sentry, which gives you more health, say if this is on cooldown, then you bust this thing out, which is able to take a lot of hits. Survivalist may kick in, and you might start regenerating health. And then you have this really strong shield that soaks up a lot of damage, which is the equivalent of like a reinforcement with no cards, or half of like Boba Fett's health, which is even more crazy. The amount of damage that you can soak up with this is absolutely insane. I'm pretty sure that you can even soak up like a shot from 2 shots from a Vanguard, 2 or 3, and you can just completely gun them down, and there's nothing they could really do about it. So these perks all synergize really well. This is to take advantage of the fact that you have a large health pool, and the fact that the combat shield is really, really stupid. So it's really, really cool to use this kind of set and be able to actually be that offensive threat that the heavy is supposed to be, as opposed to this glorified support character that can sometimes do something but is usually completely outclassed by the enforcers. Now you can actually do something. Also, if you really want to, you can change out the supercharged sentry with the ion torpedo to help out with vehicles. This thing is really nice, but for more indoor maps, or if you're playing against a faction that doesn't have any vehicles really, like say if you're playing against the Rebel Alliance, the Rebel Alliance doesn't have any vehicles they could really use. So the ion torpedo for the most part is pretty useless. So sometimes you're just better off using this anyway. I would just like to point that out. So with the officer, I decided to be a bit more creative. I say a bit more because I feel like there's only so much that you can do with the officer. But the whole purpose of this is to be able to abuse the battle command as much as possible and get as much out of it as you want. Ideally, you can actually do this with the recharge command. I think the recharge command is actually better for what we're going for. So basically what this does is, instead of healing your teammates a bit more like this does, this buffs yourself, by the way, and the radius is bigger. This is really, really strong, but this can also be equally ridiculous. And with the officer's presence, the recharge command and the improved battle command proc faster. This is really, really, really good. The officer actually has a lot of things that you can play around with, like the diffuser, I think, is super underrated as well. Say, like, a fucking Wookiee throws the thermal detonator at you, you can just pop the diffuser, boop, Thermal detonator is no longer active. Thermal imploder, no longer active. That sonic imploder that Death Trooper just threw your way, boop, gone. Leia's, Han Solo, you can't really react to that. But Leia, she's throwing thermal detonators. If you have really good reactions, diffuser, poof, that thermal detonator that would have killed you or some other soldiers, completely gone. And she can't do anything about that. So there's a lot of stuff that you can use, but the idea is that you still want to use Officer's Presence and Flash Grenade. And with something like this, you can consistently spam the improved Flash Grenade, which not only does a good amount of damage, but the radius is impossibly huge for the improved Flash Grenade. You're going to flash your opponent no matter what. And this makes it the likelihood of getting a really good flash, which is like one that completely blinds your screen. There's like the disorienting flash that fizzles up the screen and makes it pretty disorienting. And then there's a full-on flash that completely whitens your screen and you can't see anything. So, and if you do that to somebody, even if you're a really, really good player, you basically have to guess where people are. And if you're able to play around that you can just completely screw people over. And if you use something like this, you're consistently getting that flashback. You're going to be flashing people all game. That means you're also getting extra points, which can help you out get extra heroes and stuff. Officer's Presence means that you're quite literally going to be able to spam this out, and your teammates are going to be able to get their abilities back. And you can do some really nasty stuff with the recharge command. For example, Cookie Monster has a stream or a video on his channel where he and a group of friends go into Galactic Assault, and they use the recharge command to spam out flash grenades and the disruption, so it's basically like a version of the jetpack disruption flash thing that you can use in Battlefront 1. So if you're in a party, you can do some really, really evil stuff with this. And this affects heroes as well, which is even more ridiculous. So say if you have like a Leia with like a Finn and a BB9, or not BB9, actually this works with BB9 as well. BB-8 and BB9 this works well with. So you can decrease their cooldowns even further than they already are because they have a Finn, or in the case of BB9, he gives you your stuff back really fast, and then you're just like, okay, boom, you give him all of his stuff, and it synergizes really, really well, and you get this kind of ridiculous back and forth where you and everybody else are just getting all of their shit back really fast. Of course, alternatively, you can use this as well, which is just as good, if not better, than this. This improved battle command is really, really strong. In addition, something else I want to add, you can combine this with the resourceful card and make it even more stupid. So you have resourceful and you have this, which is pretty silly, but that's going into more gimmick territory, if you ask me. With the specialist, I decided to get a little bit creative with the specialist, which is weird coming from me because I like to boast that I'm really, really creative with the classes that I make. This, however, with the sniper class, you never really know what you're going to find. Sometimes you'll see people with a Stinger pistol or different versions of infiltration or personal shield. Well, I decided that I wanted to make something that used a lot of really good information perks that I think are extremely underrated and combine it with something that's really interesting. So the biggest problem with the specialist or the sniper is realistically you're only using two snipers. The NT 242 and the A2880 CFE. These are the only snipers that are good. And their biggest problem is they have issues with the cooling. With the expert weapons handling card, you make this less of an issue. So whenever you overheat your gun, there are two different skill checks that you get. You get like a regular one, and then you get a yellow one. The yellow one makes it to where you basically have a cooling cell for a limited amount of time. And these kind of cooling cell states are really, really good for you as somebody who's using like a sniper class. With the expert weapons handling, you make this duration way, way, way bigger. And this can actually mess with really, really good players who know exactly how many shots that you can use with this kind of sniper, and they can kind of fuck around and roll everywhere and wait for your gun to overheat, and then they can use that opportunity just to gun you down. With this, that is no longer really a strategy. Um, Say if you like miss a shot or two, and then they're like, "Oh, he missed a shot. They can't kill me anymore. I can get this guy." With this active, now they're just getting completely bamboozled. You're just rapid firing your sniper at them, and they're like, "Whoa, what the fuck is happening?" And then before they know it, they're fucking dead, and they don't even know what just happened. And then they see that you have the expert weapons handling card, and they're like, "Oh shit, well now I can't really mind game this guy." Of course, you still can't overheat in front of people, but this situation doesn't happen as much with this card, and it really, really helps out a lot on certain maps. And as for the other cards, these are to give you a lot of information. Now, I'm a huge advocate of the binoculars in the first game, but the binoculars in this game are absolutely ridiculous. Arguably the best perk in the game. The improved thermal binoculars are absolutely insane. So what this does is you basically get wall hacks for the entire game. You can put these on, you could equip these, and you can just look around and see where everybody on the other team is at, no matter what. Now, to mark them, you need to be looking right at them, and you need to have a line of sight of where they are. To mark them. But even if you exclude the marking part out of it, the fact that you get permanent wall hacks all game is just absolutely crazy. And the marking part just makes this even better. So, some might think the marking thing might be a little ridiculous, because, you can see a hero on the radar, but this is kind of the same thing with the Battlefront 1, where you might have an idea where a hero is on the radar, but you don't know exactly where they are. And there are some characters who can go off the radar. Finn can go off the radar. Boba Fett, who is one of the best characters in the game, can go off the radar. And BB-8, who can cause a lot of damage in objective modes, can just sneak right under your nose and just completely destroy you, and you don't know what in the fuck is going on. Before you can respond, he's already killed like half your team who's sitting on an objective. With the thermal binoculars and the ability to mark people, this will almost never happen, because unlike Battlefront 1, where like the duration is like about 7 to 8 seconds where they're marked, probably a little bit longer, the duration that people are marked in this game is 12 seconds when you fully max out the card. This is a really, really long time. 12 seconds might not be that long to some people, but trust me, being able to tell exactly where a hero is pathing and being able to prepare that long for that hero to be there is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. Now, yes, the radar does give you a lot of information for the most part and can make the marking thing a little redundant for heroes, but this isn't just applicable for heroes. You can use this to mark reinforcements that are being a pain in the ass, certain really sweaty players. That way, like, if somebody is fucking, like, charging at your team and just destroying them with, like, a clone commando, you can mark that guy and basically be like, hey, teammates, this guy's right here. Now you literally have no reason to die to this guy who has been kicking your ass all match, because now you have wall hacks on him. And even if you disregard the marking part of it, you can just use this to wall hack people. But this isn't always applicable because when you bring up the binoculars, the cooling flush thing, the great skill check success thing, or the cooling success status, when you click the good skill check and you have cooling cell, that goes away when you bring up the thermal binoculars. So you have to be careful when you are using this kind of card. You aren't going to be able to use the flush thing and just consistently bring it out and still have it. That's not how it works. And this isn't always going to be reliable at close range, because if you pull this out and some guy is running around a corner or somebody catches you off guard, you have to put the binoculars away and bring out your weapon, and they can use that to kill you in that period of time, because you have to, like, just that little second where you don't have your gun out can just completely fuck you. And that's where the scramble infiltration comes in. With scramble infiltration, this situation shouldn't happen. You pop this, and you completely go off the radar, and the radius of which you can detect people normally with this is increased. So with the regular infiltration, there's like a little small radius that you can see people on the radar. With scramble infiltration, this is widened in a bigger area. And this comes with the advantage of not only marking people, again, this is marking people for your teammates. So anybody who's in your radius, your teammates can see those people now, including you. And you completely fuck up their radars too. So they can no longer see you on their radars. This is absolutely amazing. It feeds your teammates a lot of information, gives you a lot of information as well where people are at, and you feed people disinformation as well, and they can no longer, they have to assume, oh god, this guy is coming here, and they basically have to guess where you're at, and you can really fuck with your opponent with this. Really, really good perk. And this all kind of like synergizes very well. It's really fun to use this kind of stuff. So I think that's it for Star Wars Battlefront 2 stuff. Yeah, it is. Alright. Well, we're not done yet either, because I want to showcase some of the hands that I like to use in Star Wars Battlefront 1 as well. So, there are 5 card sets that I like to use nowadays, and all of them are pretty nasty. None of them stack like Bacta with Jetpack or Jetpack with none of that. There is one hand they have with a Jetpack, but I think it's nasty as it already is with the Jetpack, but it pairs a bunch of unfair stuff together, but you guys will see. So this first card set is just the most annoying thing for anybody to go against. So the idea is you ping with Scam Pulse, you see that somebody is coming, and you're able to flash or Sonic Imploder them ahead of time. With the flash grenade, they can't react to this at all. They can't do anything. And with the Sonic Imploder, you want to usually use this kind of thing if there's like a huge group of people, because it's a big AoE, there's armor break, and your teammates can take advantage of that. But the best thing about this card set is that you can farm your perk really well. And with the perk, this one is really nasty with this combination of card sets that we have. So with Scout, Trait 1, by the way, is super underrated in Star Wars Battlefront 1. Usually, a lot of players track people through the use of the radar. At Trait 1, they're only going to be able to hear the shots of your blaster. And if you're really far away, they're only going to be able to, they're going to have to guess. With this kind of card set, what you can do is you could consistently ping people with the Scam Pulse. So if they're camping or they're playing super defensively, you can consistently keep throwing your flashes, continuously get progress on your Scout. If you get a soldier kill or two, you will hit Trait 2 pretty fast. Even in game modes like HPV, You can get trait 2 on your card by just flashing people very, very fast. And trait 2 is really nasty. Um, Basically, you don't show up on the enemy radar at all. There's no ping with your blaster. Running doesn't trigger it either, so they literally can't track you. And the whole idea of this card set is you know exactly where they are, you know, and you disorient them, and they can't see you on the radar at all. And this can be really, really, really confusing for people to go against. And even if they know that you do have it, you can consistently change your tactics, how you move around the map and stuff. And plus, they can't just focus on you; they have to focus on your other teammates as well. So this card set is really, really evil. It's really, really, really strong. Scam Pulse doesn't get enough credit as a information perk. It's really, really broken in this game. And with this card set, you will probably make some of your opponents want to tear their hair out. This second card set might be a bit more gimmicky to some people, but I'm going to explain what this does. So, turrets are very annoying in Star Wars Battlefront. There are many instances where you get a kill, and then suddenly, a few seconds later, R5 droid not locks on you, hits you. 9-UM's turret, really, really annoying. You don't have time to take it out with an ion torpedo. You don't have time to run up to it because their teammates are defending it well. Here's the solution. Run Smoke Grenade. Now, some people might be hesitant to use something like this because it blocks the visibility for everybody. It blocks the visibility for the other team, but it also blocks the visibility for you. And so sometimes the enemy team can actually take advantage of something like this. I've seen it happen in the 4,000 hours that I have in this game. But this comes with the caveat of no turret can lock on you whatsoever. This includes 9-UM's turret. This is really, really underrated because oftentimes you have to find 9-UM turret, you have to go out of your way to get in position to destroy it. You don't really have to do that with this card set. There is the ion grenade here, but the ion grenade is really versatile. It isn't just for destroying droids. This can finish off a opponent who's really low on health. This destroys personal shields. If you have a Leia on your team who's putting up shields for no reason, you can just chuck the ion grenade, poof, the shield is gone instantly, and the people in your party don't have to worry about this shitty Leia putting down a shield anymore. And if it directly hits, it will one-shot a droid. Now, as good as Ion Torpedo is, Ion Torpedo, I've seen the Ion Torpedo miss turrets at close range. I've seen it not destroy turrets in close range. With the Ion Grenade, if you know how to throw it, you can get a lot of value out of this. And also, if you're going against a Krennic, Krennic's droid will go down instantly. The shield itself will go down instantly. And if you aim it correctly, you can destroy the shield and the droid with this one item. This can kill Krennic's momentum really fast, especially if the Krennic is playing really defensively with his teammates. If you destroy that droid, his droid is on a really, really long cooldown. He can't just like spam it out like characters can with other abilities in this game. So you take away a pretty big tool from him. And if he's playing offensively and you know he's going to put the thing down, you can prepare for that. You can put down the smoke grenade. Krennic relies a lot on line of sight because he can only shoot his gun once before he has to go through a lengthy reload process that I believe is either 2.7 or 2.5 seconds. That's a really long time just to be sitting there not doing anything. That can be taken advantage of. And that's kind of like what this card set does. Explosive Shot is just to give your guns an extra oomph if you're not using stuff like E3 and E4. And Survivalist is a really underrated perk. This basically is like Survivalist in Battlefront 2, where if you go behind cover without being damaged, you heal really fast. And even at trait 1, Just that little 1.5 seconds, um, it feels really, really good, and it makes it to where you don't have to use Bacta or Adrenaline Stem. You don't have to take up a perk slot for that. You can just use this trait card, and then you'll just be A-okay for the most part. For the most part, because Adrenaline Stem and Bacta Bomb is really OP. So now there's this really, really stupid card set that exists, and I decided to make it and showcase it because it has a similar premise to this, but this one is a lot more sinister, and its effects are just absolutely devastating in a team fight. So this is the only card set that I have with Jetpack, but that's because all these perks with Jetpack synergize absolutely perfectly. So the whole idea is, say that Chewbacca is in a fight with Vader. You come in, you Jetpack, you disrupt the Chewbacca, and then you flashbang him. So not only is he overheating against a Darth Vader, but now he's also blind as well, so he can't see what's going on around him. He has to assume, oh god, this guy's over here now. God forbid that there's another guy around the corner with disruption. And yeah, this card set is just really, really evil. And against soldiers, disruption could just save your life completely. If you have like an attention lapse or somebody comes up behind you without you knowing it and you use a well-timed disruption, this kind of stuff throws people off a lot because they usually don't expect disruption. And even if you do expect it and you use a well-timed cooling cell, um, flashbang is there to throw you off some more. So they don't even have to disrupt you first. They can just flash you and just completely throw you off, then disrupt you while you're still blind. And then Bodyguard is to take advantage of this further because you get extra progress towards your trait when you disrupt people. And if you kill them, you get just a little bit extra more than you usually do. It's a bug in the game. I don't know why it exists, but it does. And plus, as I said earlier, the flashbang does contribute to trait when you blind people. So you can basically just mass farm Bodyguard and then go in while you're at trait 3, and now all of a sudden Chewbacca has to shoot you in an extra time, which that 1.5 seconds in a team fight might not seem like much, but entire games have been won by even less time, believe it or not. And that little bit of time where where he's not shooting, that little bit of time where his regulars have to compensate for it, that little bit of time where he's also blinded and he has to go out of his way to shoot you, and so do his teammates. This card set's really devilish. It's really stupid. In certain, like, if the other guy has like a bad team, he's just gonna get completely screwed by this. Han Solo and Chewie just have to fucking use shoulder charge or ground slam to even kill you because they don't want to risk taking extra tip damage. And if another regular swoops in, oh, good night to your health. That's all I gotta say to that. So this card set, really creative. This is Bacta without a jetpack, but the whole premise behind it, I think, is really cool. So you see Escape Artist, which is a really uncommon perk. You usually don't see Escape Artist. A lot of people just tend to either use Bodyguard or some other perk that helps them out in some other way. But this um, can be really, really funny to execute if you are able to use this pretty well. So the whole premise behind this card set is you're able to heal your teammates at the start of the game, get yourself a lot of trait progress. Ideally, no one else on your team is using back the bombs, so you're able to heal everybody and just hit trait 2 really fast. And you have Ion Torpedo to take out stuff like Ninum's turret. But the thing about this card set that I find really funny is the fact that it's not reliant on jetpack at all. At trait 3, you can actually run at the same speed as Predator Instinct Bosk. It's really, really ridiculous. So if Bosk tries to catch up to you, you two move at the exact same speed. So if Bosk is trying to chase you and you pop your personal shield, that Bosk is going to have to waste so much time going for you. It's super funny. And even at trait 2, Bosk still kind of has to like run at you, and plus you could use the personal shield to waste even more time, and you have back to the waste. Just and then if you really want to, if you don't like the ion torpedo, you can switch it out with the smoke grenade or the flashbang. If you use smoke grenade, it's even more hilarious because then you throw down the smoke grenade while boss is chasing you, and he like if he doesn't see you forward, you can just completely outplay him, run back, and then he has to turn around again to go get you, and then you can just kind of play this game where you're switching corners and he's got to waste even more time. With flashbang, you can make it even worse by punishing the boss, but not only wasting his time, but by the end of that chase, you blind him, which is just really, really stupid. And other heroes outside of Bosk, I mean, Vader obviously doesn't really care. Um, Neither does Luke, really, because he'll just dash at you. Although it is kind of funny to see a stormtrooper outspeed Luke. I think that's really funny. But Leia needs to use her Trooper Bane to get you. Han, if he doesn't have the shoulder charge, you have this really silly interaction where you are faster than the Han Solo, so you can just run around a little block, and the Han Solo has to predict where you're going. It's really, really stupid. What kind of stuff that you could get away with this kind of card set, but it's pretty fun. Now, this next card set is personally my favorite. The idea of this is sort of similar to the double flashbang one. However, this comes with another information perk, but this one is one for your teammates, the scalp binoculars. Probably the most underrated perk in the whole game, by far. The ability to reveal exactly where Luke Skywalker is, what direction this Chewie is taking down a hallway, like where the Chewie is. That's another thing. People don't understand. Like you can kind of mess with a character if you know exactly which way they're looking. If you know that, say if Obi-Wan is playing Chewie and he's looking in a certain direction, you can have a stormtrooper just completely catch him off guard, and because he's not looking in that direction, now he has to shift his attention to that stormtrooper. That gives your Darth Vader a little bit more wiggle room, and it might give him some time to get in there and do some real damage. Scalp binoculars also work the other way against a character called Lando Calrissian. Lando is a stealth character, so you can't see him on the radar unless if you trigger his trap. The scalp binoculars completely eliminate the need to do this. And when combined with the Scam Pulse, you can ping with the Scam Pulse to see exactly where they are. And that tells you, okay, this person's right here. I'm going to go flash them, or I'm going to go mark them. So now you have a bit more options when you see people with your Scam Pulse. And with the same premise of Scout, you actually get... I believe you get some progress if you're with the scalp binoculars. I'm not sure. I haven't tested that. I should have tested that before this video. But if you do, that's great. That just means that you get scout trait even faster. Although scout might be a little bit redundant because you are going to be placing yourself more in danger. Because you're gonna sometimes the opponent is playing really, really defensively. Say you have to run up on a Vader, you want to let your teammates know where the Vader is. Then you can just run up to them and then mark them really quick. Now, some people might point out Darth Tyros, but you can just talk to people in the party and say where they are. That is true. However, in most HPV games, there are some characters that just move so fast, like Lando can super roll across the map, and you can sometimes lose track of characters, especially when you're dealing with corner camping regulars with a bunch of perks that waste your time. And they have E4 with controller mods. They have a lot of things to really punish you and really just try to waste your time and force you to go for them. With the scout binoculars, this makes this less of an issue. So they can kill those soldiers that they need to kill, and then they could be like, oh yeah, this guy's right here. This hero that I need to get, he's in this exact position, and the rest of your team knows that too. This is really, really good when you can pull stuff like this off. I've actually won games against Labyrinth and Coiler as well as Prado using this exact card set. And they have gotten completely bamboozled because people just sneak up on them and they're like, what the fuck is going on? Not knowing that they just got marked by the scout binoculars. So this is definitely something that is very unexpected. And I wish more people used it. And hopefully more people use it after I make this video. But I think that's the end of this little thing I wanted to make. Just kind of wanted to showcase what sort of card sets that I like to use now, and that you don't exactly need to conform to the Battlefront meta to be able to make something creative and fun, and that also works. Because even if something loses the element of surprise, say that you're using something for surprise value, that might not be good later on. And these sort of perk sets, I try to make in mind, like, it's still surprising because people are so used to the meta that they don't expect it. But even if they do expect it, it's still really, really good. And that is why I kind of like creating these sort of builds that are still really, really fun, but they're also very effective as well. But that's all the time I have for right now, because I'm about to jump on and play with my friends. It's currently like 12:40 at the time I'm recording this, so I might actually stream later today. I don't know, but I also have other ideas for videos that I want to create regarding like Battlefront 2 and Battlefront 1 stuff. I'm going to start uploading more often, so you guys have something to look forward to. So there was that.